How to make a Rainbow KitKat Chocolate Cake. Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be making a rainbow cake with a twist. Not just any rainbow cake, but a super moist chocolate rainbow cake layered with a delicious KitKat filling and topped with an amazing chocolate ganache. And of course, it would not be a rainbow cake if we didn't have a beautiful rainbow to top it off. Let's get started. First, preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Then you're going to want to grease and flour two 9 by 13 baking pans. Place one of the cooled cakes on a serving plate or on the cake board. And for this recipe, I am using a 10-inch round cake board because I wanted my cake to be a little bit smaller. If you're using a 9 by 13 cake, then you can definitely just place it on a 9 by 13 cake board. Make sure to get all the way up the sides of the cake. Start in the center of the cake and work your way outwards. Make sure to keep the circles nice and tight so they don't have any space in between them. The KitKat adds a nice crunch to it. It's not overly rich or anything like that. And the chocolate ganache pairs perfectly with the KitKat. And of course, you can never go wrong with a good old-fashioned chocolate on chocolate action. It's really easy to make. It's really easy to put together, and it looks so pretty. It's a great dessert to bring to a party or to a potluck. Everyone always loves it, and it always disappears super fast. Once you've piped all 6 circles, grab a toothpick and swirl it around to connect the circles to each other. If you do, please let me know what you guys think of it in the comments below. I love reading your comments. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great day. Bye. Then grab a knife and carefully scrape the excess ganache from the top of the circles. I like to use a spatula to smooth out the sides of the cake, but you can definitely use a piping bag if you want the perfect smooth finish. And press them in gently. It doesn't take much pressure. Just press them in until they stick. The great thing about this recipe is that it's really easy to customize. If you're not a fan of KitKats, then you can use another candy bar. My favorite candy bars to use are Twix, Snickers, and Reese's. Really any type of candy bar would probably work as long as it's not like super chewy or anything like that. If you don't like chocolate, then you can make this cake with vanilla or with strawberry. Or if you're feeling crazy, you could even do an ombre effect with all 3 flavors. Once you've got a nice even layer of buttercream around the entire cake, take the remaining buttercream and add it to a piping bag fitted with a star tip and pipe. Some nice little rosettes around the bottom of the cake. Then fill in the center rosette with some chocolate ganache. But since I'm using a smaller cake board, I had to cut my cake down. So I'll be using a serrated knife to do that. Cut the cake down to whatever size you need it to be, so that it fits nicely on your cake board. For me, I cut it down to about an 8-inch circle. Then place the cake on the cake board. Place the pans on the middle rack of your preheated oven and bake for 30 to 35 minutes, or until a wooden toothpick inserted into the center comes out clean. Be sure to get all the way to the edges. This will prevent the cake from drying out. Then place the second cake on top of the KitKat layer. Now take the chocolate ganache and spread it evenly over the top of the cake. Again, be sure to get all the way to the edges. This will prevent the cake from drying out. You want to freeze the cake for 30 minutes before frosting so that the ganache hardens, and this will prevent the frosting from melting. Once your cakes are finished baking, we're going to want to let them cool in their pans for 10 minutes before inverting them onto a wire rack to cool completely. In a large bowl, cream together 1 cup of unsalted butter and 4 cups of powdered sugar until light and fluffy. Once the butter and the powdered sugar are well combined, add in 1/4 cup of milk and 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract and beat on low speed until everything is well combined. Add in another tablespoon of milk and beat on low speed until everything is well combined. Continue adding the milk 1 tablespoon at a time, beating on low speed after each addition until you reach the desired consistency. If it's too stiff, then add in a little bit more milk. If it's too thin, then add in a little bit more powdered sugar. While your cakes are cooling, let's get started on our chocolate ganache. I like to use non-stick pans, so I just spray them with some type of cooking spray. Next, grab your stand mixer and add in 2 3/4 cups of all-purpose flour, 2 cups of sugar, 3/4 cup of unsweetened cocoa powder, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, and a generous amount of salt. In a food processor, combine 11 ounces of KitKats that have been chopped up and pulse until finely chopped. Then add in 1/2 cup of heavy cream and 1/4 cup of granulated sugar and pulse again until well combined. Taste the mixture, and if it's not sweet enough for you, then add in a little bit more sugar to taste. Once you're happy with the consistency and the sweetness, go ahead and pour it into a bowl and set it aside. We're talking about a good 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Then add in 1 cup of buttermilk, 1/3 cup of vegetable oil, 2 large eggs, and 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. Now start mixing this on low speed until everything is well combined. Once everything is well combined, increase your speed to medium-high and beat this for about 2 minutes. The batter will be very thick. Next, take your batter and divide it evenly between the 2 prepared pans. In a microwave-safe bowl, combine 1 cup of heavy cream and 12 ounces of semi-sweet chocolate chips. Microwave on high for 1 minute. Remove from the microwave and let sit for 5 minutes. Then add in 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter and whisk until smooth. Set the ganache aside to cool. Next, we're going to make the KitKat filling. Now that everything is cooled, we can start assembling our cake. Now take the KitKat filling and spread it evenly on top of the cake. While the cake is freezing, let's make the buttercream. Once the cake is hardened, take the buttercream and frost the entire cake. To make the rainbow, add the remaining ganache to a piping bag fitted with a small round tip and pipe 6 concentric circles onto the cake. Now we can add the sprinkles. Add some colorful sprinkles to the top of the cake. The cake is so delicious and so moist. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and I hope you give this recipe a try.